Tiramisu is my favorite dessert. What does tiramisu means, by the way? Tiramisu, translated from Italian, means pick me up. Key ingredients of tiramisu are ladyfingers cookies, which in Italian we call savoiardi, after the House of Savoy. Apparently, these were the favorite cookies of the kings of Italy. But one main ingredient is espresso coffee. Now, in this bowl right here in front of me, you already have some espresso coffee, but we're going to add some coffee liqueur. If you don't drink alcohol, you don't need to do it, but it does add quite a bit of flavor to it, and it's something that we're going to use now to dip a Savoiardi cookies, ladyfingers, on the inside. Now, watch this. It's very important. What we're going to do is simply dip it in, count 1, 2, 3, roll them around, 1, 2, 3. That's all that you want to do. Any more than this, and they will fall aside. Here is the pan in which already I have layered some of them, and this will be the bottom of our cake. I'm going to do it with one more. Are you ready? We dip it on the inside, count 1, 2, 3, count again 1, 2, 3, and this is important because when you make a lot of a tiramisu, as long as you understand the timing involved with this, you understand that if you leave it in there for too long, they become so soft and then they fall apart. Now, what is important in making a tiramisu? First and foremost is to be able to set up your station in an organized fashion. What does that mean? Well, I have everything in here that I need. And once you have assembled all the ingredients the way that you want to have them, it makes assembly very easy. Let's start with, first and foremost, the most important ingredient, and that indeed is the making of the mascarpone cream. What we have in here is egg yolks that we already have beaten with sugar. And we've been to what is often referred to as the ribbon stage. What is a ribbon stage? I'll show you in just a second. You see it? It leaves a ribbon behind. This is what you're looking for. This is what you're looking for. The egg yolks and the sugar combine into this process are creating for us the binding of the cream. Some people get concerned when it comes to making this particular cream that the eggs, being raw, would actually cause some problem with salmonella. One of the alternatives that you have is almost the making a mock Italian meringue, more of a zabaglione in this particular case. You could actually do this mixture, mix it together over a double boiler, and as it thickens up and reaches an internal temperature of 130, now you have a thicker cream base. But remember, if you make a mistake, it turns into scrambled eggs. And I've been doing it without cooking it for so many years, and I must tell you, I never had a problem. But if you're concerned with salmonella, that would be a wonderful way, an alternative on how to resolve that issue. Now, let's come back. What makes this the interesting filling that we like? The next thing that we're going to use is mascarpone. Mascarpone, it really does equate to how could we say, Italian style cream cheese. So here we have it. You find it in just about any supermarket. Very easy. It has a wonderful flavor to it. So I like to break it in. And as I do this, look, I mix it and I want it to really get involved in this. I want it to break it up as soften as possible and to soften it up. When you take it, make sure that you have it out of the refrigerator for at least 10-15 minutes. Bring it down to room temperature, and it's a lot easier to work with. If it's very hard, very solid, it will be a lot more complicated. Next to it, the next thing that we're going to do it is the addition of meringue. Meringue is just egg whites that we've beaten together with sugar, and it's full of air. Now, the meringue part is very important. It's where a lot of people make a mistake. And allow me to show you what I'm talking about. If we were to use at this point this particular beater, we will break down the air that's inside the meringue. That would be, technically speaking, a huge mistake. What we want to do is we want to fold them from down, up with gentle. You want to maintain all those bubble of airs. You want to wrap them into the sensual caressing brought together by the egg yolk sugar combination. And once you see it, you see that it's still as fluffy, spongy-like. This is the texture that we want. To this particular texture, we're going to add another filler, and that is whipping cream that we whipped with sugar, and plenty of it, ladies and gentlemen. This is not one dessert in which we do just a little bit. So here's the whipping cream that I discussed with you. Off it goes on the inside. The technique of folding remains the same. It might be almost too much time talking about the folding, but a lot of people get violent and they start using the whisk breaking it down. What you want to do is from below on top, from below on top. And as you can see, there is this wonderful glossiness that takes place, the way in which it does. You see, it's just absolutely perfect. And this is full of air. It's very light. At this point, we have a strong presence of the eggs and the sugar, which by itself already is full of love. The next thing that we want to add on to it is chocolate. Let's talk about chocolate. You can go milk chocolate, you can go dark chocolate. As for me, I love chocolate. Many times I even mix it. So here's what I do. I pop it right in there, but make sure that the chocolate is nicely ground with something that maybe you have already mixed and cut up with a microplaner or grated. What I want to do is to have tiny tidbits that will give you a little bit of bite, so that when you bite right into it, you have this wonderful sensation of chocolate that melts right on your tongue, together with the cookies, the coffee, and the liqueur that we discussed. At this point, we are ready to assemble the mascarpone. How do we go about assembling the mascarpone? It's a very simple flow, but one which you need to be organized. So allow me to set up everything in front of me the way in which it should be. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when they cook, and not just this recipe, but just about any recipe they do in the kitchen, is to look for things as they go along. So whenever it's my recipe or someone else's recipe, one of the most important things is to set up your station with all the ingredients in front of you, ready for the action. So now that we got this going, all that we need is the cream, the mascarpone cream, which is finishing here, the first layer of the lady fingers, additional lady fingers that we'll put on top. So here we go. I'm going to cover the first layer with this. Is there a technique? What I don't want to do it is to exaggerate and push it down and break it, but you want to be generous at the same time, because on top of this, as we'll add the second layer, we will make the base of what we have. Now watch. Sorry if I know I'm not supposed to. It's not good manner to be licking the bowl, but usually when I make this at home, I do lick the bowl. But if you allow me permission, exactly the way I like it. Now, second layer, this is what we're going to do. Doesn't matter if you put them in the same directions or not. If you want to have it pretty, put them into the same direction, the same pattern as you had before. If not, simply do this. Move quickly. Look, what if this breaks? A lot of people get concerned. Oh my gosh, it's broken. You know what you do? You take this piece, you put it next to this piece. Nobody's going to know. Do you think that when people eat mascarpone, they look at it and they say to themselves, oh my gosh, it's not perfectly aligned? Trust me when I tell you this. They love it so much, they don't care. And here we go. But nevertheless, handle with a certain care. And push them right into the cream. Push them right into the cream so they pick up the flow. And remember that as you let this sit overnight, somewhat it will settle. As it settles, what appears for you to be very crouched, so lifted up, it will go further down. So here we go with this. And here we are. Fabulous. And then we top it, the other layer. Now, depending on the instrument that you use, the vessel that you use, you can make this mascarpone as tall as you want. 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers. It really doesn't matter, because once we put it together like this, the last step is, once we decorate the finished top of it, we put it in the refrigerator to rest overnight. So here I go with it. You can be as clean as and organized as you want, but mascarpone by nature is a bit of a messy dessert, the kind that you bring to the table and everybody loves. Now, this is the last layer. I used something very simple. You must clean the edges. Really? No, but I want an excuse to have a little bit of mascarpone cream. The last thing that we're going to do is to decorate it with cocoa right on top of it. Cocoa powder. Let's talk about cocoa powder. You can go with just about anything that you want. There are some cocoa powder out there in the marketplace, which are sweet by nature, exactly as they are. And those are the ones that I prefer. Actually, they have a little bit of sugar already built into it, and grated chocolate in addition to cocoa powder. Or you can go old-fashioned, but the technique remains the same. Watch this. We already poured the cocoa powder in this. This gives us control in the way in which we put it on top. It brings us exactly to where we want to go. And exactly, there you are. At this point, once you cover the last layer, all that you need to put is to put this in the refrigerator, let it rest at least overnight so that it settles, it gets nice and chilly, and as it does that, the cream is perfect. And now I want to show you how to put it together. But before I do that, here are some beverages that you can use to make a perfect accompaniment to this wonderful dessert. We've let the tiramisu rest in the refrigerator overnight until it's nice and chilled. We cut a nice slice, and here is the last touch, strawberry sauce that we have made. And here we go, a little bit all the way around. And this is gonna make such a fantastic pair. It's awesome. And remember this, when it comes to food, when it comes to life, it is all about passion. Thank you for joining me. I love spending this time together, and I look forward to show you what I get to do next time. From my heart to your kitchen, arrivederci.